Hello, you lovely lot. Welcome to episode 5. How are you enjoying this series so far? I have had some amazing feedback and I love hearing the difference this podcast is making. If you do have a moment and you do like these episodes, please could you pop a little review on wherever you found this series. It would really help share the podcast so that more lovely people just like you can also listen along. Now, on to the episode. Today I am talking to the wonderful Claire from Dr. Me.
I'm really happy running a business, I think, because it's something that I'm hugely passionate about and it's got sort of overlap with PE teaching, and that I'm just trying to inspire people to be a little bit healthier and thus a little bit happier and get more out of life. Then I think that because there is so much crossover, it's a no-brainer for me. I can move around with it. I can work the hours that I want to work. My children are now at boarding school, so if I was to teach into a state system, the holidays would be stupidly different. And so it's just, for me, it works. It's the opportunity. I can work as much as I like or as little as I like, but me being me, I work hard.
Claire started Dr. Me just over a year ago, so this episode gives you a really great insight into year one. And it shows you just how important your health can be when you run your own business. It is a really good episode, and a massive thank you to Claire for sharing all of those wonderful ideas and insights about health. I hope you enjoy episode 5. Claire, thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you very much for having me, Jess. It's a pleasure to be here.
Oh, it's brilliant. I've never met you. So like the majority of my podcast guests, we have never actually met in real life. But thank goodness for the internet. It feels like I know you and your business so well. I love what you're doing. I think it's really important. But for those who may not have found you, please could you tell us all about Dr. Me?
Well, Dr. Me has been inspired over the last year. I've been a PE teacher for 16 years and worked in various schools, being an RAF wife, beginning to find it quite tricky getting jobs in schools every 2 years that we're posted, but worked in my last school in Kent, had a great receptive head teacher down there who basically said yes to everything that I asked. So when I said to her a little while back, I said, could I do a health week with the school? She pretty much said yes, so long as it's safe and doesn't cost me too much money. So I took the whole school off timetable for a week in the summer and bombarded them with information about health. We did workshops, we did trialling of different sports, we got speakers in, and the whole week was a huge success. So much so that before we pretty much finished the first week, the head was saying to me, let's book this in again for the second year that I was going to be in Biggin Hill. So second week, follow it about a year later, was carried out, tried to sort of focus on different elements of health so that the children weren't bored. I'm just going, oh, it's the same old boring health week again, but they wouldn't say boring because they loved it the first time. And once again, second time round, it was a huge success. So leaving Biggin Hill last summer, we came up to North Yorkshire, and the leaving present from my head was a book called The Startup Business Workbook. Basically, she said my idea for Health Week was too good to let go. I should stop PE teaching and try and deliver health workshops throughout the UK. And something sort of hit a nerve with me. I was really inspired by this. It was just a great opportunity of somebody saying, why not do it? Give it a go. So that's what I did. About September last year, decided to actually plunge into the business world and develop the concept of Dr. Me.
And why do you love it so much? Why is it so important that you help people with their health and their whole mindset and what is it you say Dr. Me stands for?
It's for diet, resilience, which is sleep, mind and exercise. So for me, having been a PE teacher for years, I've always liked health. I've always loved exercise. And for me, it's just important to try and help people get the most out of their lives. So you can sort of go through life plodding your way through, doing what you think is right, but actually life's more about living and really trying to thrive as well as you can. And I think if you're healthy, you're more likely to be happy, and in which case you're more likely to get more out of life.
So let's talk a little bit about health. So I know that when you run a business, it's tiring. It's a lot of effort. It's a lot of hard work. And You've got to be on top form, not only because your clients expect it, but also because if you are not, there's nobody else to pick up the pieces. So when you add a little bit of military life into that, it gets really complicated and a little bit tough, which is why health is so important. So what are your best tips for someone that is running a business to keep healthy, both in their mind and in their body?
Well, as I've just said, diet, resilience, mind and exercise are the key concept of Dr. Me. And I believe that if you make small changes in each of those key areas, your body will gain substantially from all of that. So for instance, if you're not one for exercising, but decide that actually exercise would be a good thing to do, if you exercise more, that night you'll sleep better. And then the following day you'll make healthier food choices. And that has a huge impact on your outlook on life. So it makes you a more positive person. And from all the research I've done to date, the whole body is just hugely interconnected. So you can go on a diet, but actually by going on a diet, that quite often has a knock-on effect to how much you exercise. And then that has a knock-on effect to how you sleep. And then that has a knock-on effect to how you view the world, positively or negatively. So actually with it being all so interconnected, it's hugely beneficial to everybody. So small changes in all of the 4 key areas are key. But going back to being a business person and a military spouse, I think we can really work and play on our community. So connections with people are vital in life, actually physically going out and seeing people and connecting day to day, face-to-face contact, instead of just being on our tablets or mobiles or whatever. I think connections are key, which we're really lucky. There's often a community within the military which enables us to bond with people, and there are events and bits and pieces put on. So I'd always say yes to every opportunity you're given, whether that's going to a gardening, herb making evening and you don't like gardening, just go along, you might learn something. Or it might be going to a wine and cheese thing, just go along. Even if you don't like wine, go and eat the cheese instead, because I think those connections that you meet people and make with people are key. In terms of business, I would say focus a set amount of time each day on your business, but then also allow your brain and your body to relax. So if you need to actually have downtime, schedule that in if necessary, whether that be through watching TV, reading a book, doing a yoga session, going for a run, whatever it may be, make sure you have some time just for you, which I know is easier said than done, especially when you set up a business. But I think you need to look after yourself, because if you burn out, you're not of any use to anybody or to enhancing your business in any way.
Yeah, no, it's completely true. And I know that for a few of us that have been doing this for a little while, it's so important to take some time off and to look after yourself. So I am a big believer in a 90-day sprint. So you work nonstop for 90 days and you work towards your bigger goals. And then at the end of those 90 days, you take a week off or a couple of days off and you go away, and just to sort of recover from it. Because if you just work nonstop and you don't look after yourself, then your business is going to fail. And if the whole point of, building a business is to help you in your lifestyle, but you forget that they're interconnected with each other. Yeah, so if you burn out, then your business goes to pot, and that's not the point at all. So it is so important to look after yourself, which sort of begs the question, how do you look after yourself in your business? You've only just started out, and it's, you've been going for a year, and it is tough. That first few years of starting a business is more difficult and learning your way. How do you keep on track, and how is it going?
The business is going really well. Before I started it, I thought I was actually quite healthy. But all of the research I've done over the past year has just made me even healthier. I quite like to think I live by the 80-20 rule, in that you're good for 80% of the time, and then you can do what you like for the other 20%. You can have a drink, have a steak, not go for a run, whatever it may be, just because otherwise life gets boring and you do get run down and you stop enjoying things. And life's really important that you do enjoy the small things. So you need to do all of that. One key thing I think that has astounded me the most is sleep, and the effect that sleep has on our bodies. Everything that happens to our body and mind when we sleep is just phenomenal. And I've done a lot of reading around it. And if we don't sleep, we can't operate as well. We can't think as clearly. We're much more emotional. We're not physically as capable to keep going. Our bodies get ill more regularly. And so I think if you could sort of package up sleep as a pill, you would become a multi-billionaire if that were possible, but you can't. So sleep is really important. Food is really important, trying to eat fresh food that's quite zingy in colour, trying to cook from scratch, my message for food is to eat the rainbow, trying to eat something every day that's red, that's yellow, that's blue purple, that's green, that's white, that's orange, and trying to make sure that you get a tick for each colour every day. And by doing that, you're getting a nice variety, which helps your lovely microbiome in your gut and digestive system. Trying to be positive as much as you can. That's very easy to say, a lot harder to do. I think 60% of our thoughts are often negative, but actually by turning things around and by training your brain's very malleable, and you can train it to think a lot more positively, which I think is incredible. So just little acts of gestures of kindness, or just words, or a quick compliment here, or a thank you there, I think really does help. It helps the receiver, but also it helps you as a giver, even if that's something in business. Thank you for helping me rephrase this paragraph in this writing I've done, or whatever it may be. I think just being thankful, being positive. And for me, exercise is key. It always has been a huge part of my life. I think getting out there. If I hadn't have exercised, actually, I've told Jess the story lots of times before, but it was last year when I was training for a half marathon at the Bristol Half. I started listening to the Independent Spouse podcast, and there were a few interviews that I particularly enjoyed, but one was with the Heropreneurs and Peter Mountford, and I just was running thinking, I'd never be accepted onto this course and get a business mentor. And I thought, well, what have I got to lose? And so I gave it a go, and here I am a year down the line, and got a business mentor who's been just so key in setting up my business and helping me sort of see the way forward. And it's been just amazing. And had I not been out running and training, I probably wouldn't have found or listened to the podcast. And here I am today. So
I know, and here you are. And I can't believe you trained a half marathon by listening to my voice. I'm so sorry. But I am glad that you did it, and you did so well. And you found yourself a Heropreneurs mentor, and it's just giving you that little leg up to achieve some amazing things. Which brings me to the question. It's all about community, and the military community is amazing. It's not just spouses in business. Heropreneurs also help veterans, and you have got your mentor through that. So it begs the question, who are the military spouses or the people in the community that really inspire you and that have motivated you?
So you, for one, you helped me to make the decision, made me make that leap into life as a teacher to life as an entrepreneur, just by listening to the various podcasts last summer. That was great. I've had quite a lot of dealings this year with Sarah Stone, who we were at Northwood together quite a few years ago now, but she's been really encouraging and helpful and put me in the right direction sometimes. So she's been a great inspiration too. And then people that I've met through the Heropreneurs, so Amy Nolan has been really supportive, and there are lots of different people, but what I've really been astounded by is the amount of support that I've got if I posted a question on a Facebook group, or if I've asked somebody a question and they didn't know the answer, they'd put me in touch with somebody else. And I've been really touched by the feedback that I've got, or the questions answered, or the help that people are willing to give, whether that's just because I'm a military spouse or whether that's just because they're nice people, I'm not entirely sure, and I guess I'll never know. But it's been feels a bit like a team effort, even though it's me on my own with Dr. Me.
But that's, I think, when you run a business, you spend so much time by yourself, but also I've spent years working my way through business problems and, finding out the best path. And if somebody else is starting off and they're struggling to find a solution, it's a bit silly for me not to help them, because it just makes their life a little bit easier in the same way that other people have helped me in the past. So So I know that as a community of business owners, we've all sort of got each other's back a bit, and especially in the military community, which obviously is amazing. It's just the kind of people we are. So of course, everybody will help you out. And it's brilliant to hear that that is working in real life and online as well, because it's so important for everybody to look after each other and boost each other, because the better other people do as business owners, the more that our own business can grow. And it's all about bigging each other up and helping each other out and changing the way that people think of businesses in this country, especially if they're run by the spouse. That is very important. I am always talking about that. But military life is always a challenge, as we know. It's got its highs and its lows, its good bits and its slightly dark bits. You've told me that you have had 10 houses in 15 years.
Yep.
So it's probably quite difficult for you to be employed as a PE teacher. Has the fact that you move all the time and your Magnolia Wall life directly influenced the fact that you have started your own business?
Absolutely, 100%, yes. If I hadn't have moved, I would probably be teaching in a school somewhere. I'd have set myself up in that first job, and who knows, I might still be there teaching the same group of children, not the same group of children because they'd have been through the school system by now, but I certainly wouldn't have set up my own business. Without a shadow of a doubt, I wouldn't be here today talking to you. I would still be teaching PE, and yeah, I wouldn't be a business owner.
And do you think, because I'm the same, I never wanted to start my own business, which is a bit of a strange thing to admit now that I'm trying to make everybody else do it. Do you just feel better? Are you happy running a business?
I'm really happy running a business, I think, because it's something that I'm hugely passionate about, and it's got sort of overlap with PE teaching, and that I'm just trying to inspire people to be a little bit healthier and thus a little bit happier and get more out of life. Then I think that because there is so much crossover, it's a no-brainer for me. I can move around with it. I can work the hours that I want to work. My children are now at boarding school, so if I was to teach into a state system, the holidays would be stupidly different. And so it's just, for me, it works. It's the opportunity. I can work as much as I like or as little as I like, but me being me, I work hard.
And it fits around your life. I know that I lost my sort of way when I left my job originally, and that I was desperately trying to be a housewife and failed at that. So business owner is sort of my new tag. And you've mentioned that you have moved on from being somebody's mum and somebody's wife, and you now have this extra part to you, and you can sort of claim a little bit of your identity back.
Absolutely, yes. So I do feel that I've worked hard. I've always worked hard, but when my children were young, my primary role was to be a mother. Obviously, another primary role is to be a good wife, but there's more to me than just that. And so hopefully now I'm helping to inspire people to improve their health a little.
Which is so important. And you spoke earlier about community and about connecting people when you're working. So you are setting up a co-working hub, I have heard.
I am indeed, yes. So all my research into depression and anxiety, I would say, all sort of pinpointed that we need connections. There was a lovely phrase that I heard, that bees are designed to live in a hive and humans are designed to live in a tribe. And unfortunately, over time, humans have lost that instinct to be in a tribe. We think it's okay to coexist by using our phones and having lots of followers on Instagram and Twitter, and we're really popular because of that. But actually, day-to-day connections are so important. Having that face-to-face contact with people, having that chat over a coffee about what you watched on TV last night, or what your plans are for the weekend, or what you want to see recently in the cinema. I think we need that day-to-day contact with people. We need to talk to people because it's key. And doing it on your phone or on the computer or via email, it just doesn't quite cut it. And so I've set up this hub at RAF Leeming, which is we're sort of softly testing at the moment to see how it's all going, what the teething problems are with it. But it's pretty much nearly open, so by the time this podcast goes out, it will be up and running fully, I'm sure. And I've set it up because I found life in the past 8 months quite lonely and tricky at times, trying to set up this business that I knew not an awful lot about setting up businesses. And it would have been great to be able to bounce ideas off people who were ahead of me in the whole business setup. And so I think if I felt like that, there's probably quite a few other people at Leeming who also feel similarly. So I think it will really benefit the community. I think it will benefit people with small businesses. I think it would be great for people who are studying, just to have some social connections with people, especially if their husbands or partners are deployed, or if they haven't got children and they're not on the school run every day. It gives them a sense of purpose, a sense of getting out, which is so vital for our mental health.
Yeah, so important. And just to talk to a real human, because I spend an awful lot of time just sat behind this computer, doing everything virtually, doing everything over the internet, and just leaving the house and talking to a human makes such a difference, and it is so important. And you could spend all day doing exercise and eating well, but actually if you're not looking after your brain as well, then it's completely pointless. And that's what you're trying to advocate, is that it's the whole thing. It's not just one element. You've got to look after your whole body, which I love. It's so important. So with that in mind, what is the plan? Where will Dr. Me be in the next 5 years?
Oh, in the next 5 years, hopefully Dr. Me will have presented workshops in lots and lots of different schools throughout the UK. I'm working into corporations as well, because what I offer, or the messages that I portray, aren't just relevant for children. They're very relevant for adults as well. And so by going into corporations, it encourages them to look after their workforce and get more out of their workforce as well. So hopefully I'll have done a lot more workshops, and I might even have employed a few people to work for me to do those jobs like accounts that are quite high on my priority list.
Yeah, no, that's really good, because once you start employing people, it makes it all so much easier, and then you can focus on what you do best, which is running your courses and doing your workshops and making everybody just that little bit happier. So we're kind of coming towards the end, but before we go, I always drag my poor guests through the quickfire questions. It's a tradition now, we can't stop them. They aren't necessarily quick, but they are really interesting, so I'm going to stick with them. So are you ready for the quickfire questions?
I think so.
No, brace yourself. So the first one, which is an oldie but a goodie, is who would you most like to hear from on the Independent Spouse podcast series?
A little while ago, I heard somebody say Prince Harry. I think he would be amazing, because he's done so much as an ambassador for the Invictus Games, for mental health, things like that. But I appreciate he's probably quite hard to reach. So seconding on from that, I'd probably say Sarah Stone to hear. She's the founder of these co-working hubs. I think it would be great to hear her story as to why she set them up and the progress that she's made behind developing them with her aims and aspirations to get them throughout the UK, because I know lots of people that I speak to have really supported it and think it's a fabulous idea and can't wait to move to a place where there is one. So yeah, that's Prince Harry and Sarah Stone.
Yeah, no, Prince Harry and Sarah Stone. Either of those people I will be happy with. I know that Sarah listens to this, so eventually when she gets through the series, she will pick up on that and definitely be a guest. And maybe Prince Harry listens. I mean, you know, we can always hope.
Aim high, Jess, aim high.
I will tweet somebody. You will invite him to my lovely Mary Quarter one day. So the next one is the Independent Spouse is all about inspiring people and sharing the positives of military life. So how do you stay inspired?
How do I stay inspired? I try and say yes to everything that is offered my way, especially so when I'm put out of my comfort zone. So I try and answer very quickly, and then quite often I'll regret that answer. But I believe that by stepping outside of your comfort zone, you can really enhance your life, because you're doing things that you wouldn't ordinarily do. And I think living in as many different locations as we live in, meeting as many people as we do, I think by pushing your boundaries, you really make yourself a more positive and outgoing person.
Yeah, oh, that's so good. Honestly, yes, it's true. And moving all the time, if you don't do that, you just don't meet some amazing people.
Yeah.
Got to go through a few ones to find them, but once you found them, you know what I mean?
Well, you might hit jackpot first time. Lucky if you're
first time.
You never know.
So what would you tell a military partner who wanted to start their own business?
I would say go for it. I've had such a good support network helping me. It's scary, it's daunting, it's doing things that perhaps you're very unfamiliar with, but there's nothing that Google or books or friends or forums can't tell you. I would suggest getting help wherever you can. So getting onto support schemes like Heropreneurs. Heropreneurs has really helped me in a way that has made my business grow a lot faster than it would have done without it, as has all the chats on Facebook pages, via virtual networking groups, things that are out there, but you've got to search for them. But you'll soon find that there's quite a close-knit group of military spouses who you keep coming across, like yourself, Jess. I've never met you, but I do feel like I know you fairly well now, through all the connections we've had over the last year. And it's through people like that you've got nothing to lose, really. If it doesn't work, then you forget about it on your next posting and go back to what you did beforehand. But if you don't give it a go, you never know.
Oh, that is the best bit of advice. Just go for it. Yeah, you never know. And you're right, you can reinvent yourself in the next posting. And something is always better than nothing.
Absolutely.
Claire, I have loved talking to you today properly because, you know, we've met each other online. We've met in the virtual networking. And of course, you were one of the very first people that sent me a message almost a year ago, who had listened to all the episodes and really enjoyed them. And it had helped give your business a boost, and you started your business because of them, which is a slightly frightening thought, but also the whole point of the entire podcast series. So thank you for trusting me and for being such a fan and listening to them, and of course for coming on to talk to me today. I love Dr. Me. I think it's fab. I will be definitely getting more involved and seeing how it can help me. But if I want to get in touch, where can I find you?
So I've got a website, which is www.doctorme, that's doctor-me.co.uk. My Facebook handle is @doctor, so dr.me.health. My Twitter is @drmehealth1, and my Instagram is @dr.me.health.
And I will share them on all my social media when this is published. So yeah, Claire, that is the end. But thank you so much for coming to talk to me today.
Oh, it's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you for having me, Jess. And I look forward to meeting you in person one day.
Oh, another massive thank you to Claire for sharing her story and all about Dr. Me. I really hope you enjoyed it and take on board a few of the things that Claire mentioned. I will, of course, be back next week with another inspiring episode. This time it is with Alison from the Cariad Project. I will see you then.